I call this meeting of the Alvin Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Tonight we have a very special guest with us to lead the pledge. Ava Reggie is an 8th grader at McNair Junior High, and she was a remarkable young leader in our community. But before she does the pledges, we're going to, if you all please stand, and we'll have the invocation by Trustee Johnson, and then followed by the pledges.
Please stand if you can. Bow your head. Dear Father, thank you for allowing us to gather here safely this evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be before you and continue to lead this district with our fellow trustees. Thank you for protecting our law enforcement. Thank you for all of our leadership team, our teachers, our principals, and most importantly, our dear students, Lord. Please continue to protect them. Please guide their hearts, grow them, and grow their minds, Lord. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the one state under God, indivisible.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, now we'll go into the superintendent's report.
So, Board, we have had a very busy month serving our communities that serve us. November was a month of food drives, thank you cards, volunteer visits, special deliveries, and service. We love seeing the way our students and staff served their communities. So if you saw, of course, I heard it called the highlighter shirt this year. Around town, you know that they're serving. We've had even parents say that when their kids go to help someone, even outside of school, they like to wear their shirt just because it's their service shirt. So we're so proud of giving back and seeing our students and staff give back to our communities. We had our thespian students shine at festival. Alvin ISD boasted 25 national qualifying students in the individual competition events at the 2023 Texas Thespians Festival, held November 15th through the 18th at the Gaylord Convention Center in Grapevine, Texas. Alvin High School had 11 students, Shadow Creek High School had 11, and Manville High School had 3 students who qualified. Additionally, Shadow Creek had 2 students who qualified for main stage performance, which means they received a perfect score in their competitions from all 3 judges. Students choosing to compete in the national competition can attend the International Thespian Festival, which will take place on June 23rd through the 28th in 2024 at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana. We held our Path to Purpose breakfast on November the 15th. We hosted it for our local community groups, including our faith-based partners and local nonprofit leaders around the district service area to build relationships with groups that also help support our students and our families. During the breakfast, we had district representatives from athletics, CTE, safety, and community engagement departments that spoke about their initiatives and the way these groups could partner with both the district to spread information and get involved. And you can see Ms. Passarella up there talking about her mentor program and ways that they could help us there in volunteering. We had our annual Santa Claus visit, and Santa came to Alvin ISD. On December the 4th, Alvin ISD Board President, Mr. Humberg, made a special meet and greet happen for Alvin ISD staff members and their families. Santa came to town with hot cocoa and cookies and worked with the J.B. Hensler Culinary Arts students to spread joy for everyone around. And so you can see Officer Gomez there took advantage of a Santa picture. And then a reminder, like planning ahead, because on Friday, well, I'll tell you that in a minute, Friday is early dismissal, but planning ahead, we're already talking about 2024. In January, we have our annual open house, rodeo art open house from 5 to 7 at Liberty Hall at Freedom Field. We'll have our art show. This has turned into a real event. It's a great event. We have live band there. We have Jack's Burgers comes out, and Raleigh's ice cream. So come out and enjoy rodeo art. And there's no charge, except I think you have to buy your food at the food trucks. So it's not free burgers and ice cream, but it's free entertainment. So, and then finally, enjoy the holiday break, recharge in early dismissal this Friday, December the 15th. Our break is December the 18th through January the 3rd for students. Teachers will be back for a professional learning day or work day, and their campuses have planned. And then students return on January the 4th, 2024. I know. So, Ms. Rives, would you like me to introduce our our greeters this evening? Yes. Okay, our greeters tonight, we had the privilege of being greeted by some selected soloists from Alvin High School choirs that are under the direction of Levi Duncan. Levi, everybody. Would each of you please come up to the microphone, introduce yourself, and tell us what grade you're in?
My name is Johnny Kano, and I'm a sophomore.
Great.
My name is Ainsley Daniels, and I'm a junior.
My name is Davey Izquierdo, and I am a senior.
Howdy, I'm Lindsay Hainline, and I'm also a senior.
Wonderful. Now let's listen as they bless us with their performance of the Sounds of the Holidays melody. So students, if y'all want to come up, that'd be great. Or are y'all going to take turns or? Okay.
Once again, with candy canes and silver lanes that glow, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store, but the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door.
Dancing bears, painted wings, things I almost remember. And a song someone sings once upon a December. Someone holds me safe and warm. Horses prance through a silver storm. Figures dancing gracefully across my memory.
Tied you to a kitchen chair, she broke your throne, she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
talented students. Thank you, students, for coming and sharing your talents with us this evening, and Mr. Duncan for all you do for our students at Alvin High School. So thank you. Yeah.
Well,
Next, we'll have some commendations by Trustee Harris and Trustee Scott.
yeah. And yes, very good job. I was very impressed with that. So we're going to move into our commendations right at this time. Guests, we're super excited that you're here with us, and we thank you for coming. Parents, if your students are being honored, if you would like to get up, take pictures, this is about your child right now. And so we want to make sure that you get what you need. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I wanted to talk to you about Junior High UIL One Act play first. So on November 4th, the Alvin ISD Junior High Theater programs performed at the District UIL One Act Play Contest in Shadow Creek. Congratulations to the following winners. First place show was Manville Junior High. With their show, An Absolute True Story as Told by a Bunch of Lying Liars. So that sounds fascinating. It does. So when I call your name, please come up. But first we have Paige Rooney. She was the best performer. Next, we have Anders Freebug from was All-Star Cast. And next, we have Jackson Bullock, who was Honorable Mention Cast. And next, we have Kashvi Natagari, and that person was an outstanding technician. And then all of this was done under the direction of Christina Fondren. So if you want to come up to get the picture with them, there we go. Congratulations to everyone. That is so exciting. Now, yeah, we can wait.
Congratulations.
Yes. So second place show was Rodeo Palms Junior High. Peter and Wendy. And the best performer was Damian Perez. The all-star cast was Alexis Ferrari. The honorable mention cast was Gianna Bryant. The outstanding technician was Aiden Calzadi. Sorry, I did not say that right. Calzadius, I think. And then this was under the direction of Taylor Orsack. Thank you all very much. Good job. And now the third place show was McNair Junior High. And all-star cast was Mia Silva. Honorable mention cast was Alex Cooper. Outstanding technician was Syria Dalsey. And they were under the direction of Brandy Keichel and assistant Jide Bell. Great job. Thank you very much. And then last but not least, the best tech crew went to Alvin Junior High, A Midsummer's Night Dream. And they were under the direction of Angelica Hernandez. Are you stepping in?
Ms. Hernandez had a family emergency.
Okay.
So here I am.
I was going to say she looks a little different, but that is okay. She looks beautiful tonight.
Speech.
Yes. Okay, next we are going to the Brazoria County Fair, the Rabbits Best of Breed, and the following students received Rabbit Best of Breed at the Brazoria County Fair this past October. So we have Alvin High School, we have Liliana Guerrero. And Grace Sutton. And teachers, if y'all want to come up there with them, please do. And we'll get the picture. Are you good? You go on up there.
Webb?
Go up there, Miss
Come
Webb.
on, Miss Webb. Oh,
There we go. Very good. Thank you. Next, we have Manville High School, and we have Audrey Smith. Savannah Sheffield. Kayla Dickens. Brianna Briggs. Helen Mount. And Mia Aguilar.
and Miss Clark, the teacher. She's
And
going to take
yes,
a
Miss
picture
Clark,
first.
come on up. That's right. Miss Clark, you want to get in there with them? Yeah, there we go.
She's like a proud mom.
That's right. It's a lot of hard work that
That's
goes
right.
into that.
Lots of time and lots of dedication. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Congratulations.
One more.
And last but not least, Shadow Creek High School. We have Abigail Nazer, I'm sorry. Then we have Megan Trevino. Isabel Nizer. And Bailey Gerald.
Do we have teacher?
Yes, and the teacher. Please come up.
Yay. Oh. Mr. Rhodes will take the picture. Great.
Congratulations to all of our
Congratulations.
students. That is a very long process, and they did an excellent job. So we're very proud of all of you. We also have, we're switching gears a little now.
Wait, Ms. Rives, can I ask a question?
Sure.
When do y'all get your next set of rabbits? Oh, you already have them. Wow.
Oh,
Yeah. So this
awesome.
is a
They're already
continual.
preparing.
Yep.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Wow. That's a lot of hard work.
right.
Great job. Next, we're going to switch gears and we're going to go to the superintendent's holiday card winners. So elementary and junior high students around the district submitted artwork to be considered for the superintendent's holiday card. Alvin ISD administration voted, and the following 6 students' artwork were chosen to represent Alvin ISD on their 2023 holiday card. So congratulations to the following students. Aisha Riemann, her card, and you will see the cards up here on the side, but if we call your name, come on up, was Sweet Holidays, and she was from Brothers Elementary. And the teacher was Billie Jean Garcia. Is the teacher here by any chance? Okay. Next, we have Olivia Guerrero. She had bright lights. And she's from Nelson Elementary, and the teacher is Michael Summers. Come on up.
There's
So we
Mr.
can get
Summers.
your picture. That's right. Congratulations. And next we have Josiah Ybarra, and his was Santa's Rockin' Hat from Alvin Elementary. And his art teacher was Tiffany Quinn. Next, we have Chloe Adams with the Christmas in the Desert card from Alvin Junior High. And if you'll stay up there, we also have another one from Alvin Junior High, and that is Brianna Scroggs, Have a Paul Christmas. Alvin Junior High. Art teacher is Elizabeth Rodriguez. Great job on that. Pretty awesome. And then, yeah, go ahead. You're good. And then on that one, last but not least, is Janita Sanja, and it's Feliz Navidad from Rodeo Palms Junior High. And the art teacher is Ashley Perkins. Great job, and congratulations to all of our students that created all our cards for the 2023 holiday cards.
Ms. Stinger, principal at Brothers, if you want to get your students' medal, that'd be great, because then you could deliver it, and then just one. And then Alvin Junior High had 2. Did you want to, okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
And we have one more commendation, and this one happens to be a staff member. So we all know how hard our staff members work all the time and go above and beyond what is asked of them. But sometimes they have to be heroes, and this one is no exception. So on Monday, November 6th, a Rodeo Palms Junior High science teacher, Roderick Potes, saved a student's life during the transition between first and second period. A student was choking on a piece of candy, and Mr. Potes realized the student was in distress and used the Heimlich maneuver to dislodge the candy. Thank you, Mr. Potes, for your quick action and your daily care of our Razorback students. So, yes. never realize how valuable that is until it's your child and something's
That's right.
happening. So we are so thankful to you. Thank you very much.
All right, at this time, we're going to take just a second for you. If any of the students want to leave now, good time to go. Know we got homework, even though it is the last week before break.
Hey, we,
Thank you.
That was wonderful.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank y'all for coming. Thank you, thank you.
Good night.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good night.
Right, yeah.
Not you.
Kim's one.
I know. It was.
That means we have room at the front if y'all want to move up.
I don't know, they're holding that back wall up.
That's it.
I went for Cleo. Ellen used to come in this weekend and wrap. I used to love to wrap. Yes.
Yeah, it's working.
City Center or building, they have wrapping kits where you can bring your gifts, drop them off in the lobby, they wrap them, and then you pick them up with
You just give them a tip or something.
Yeah.
So nice. Okay, that's awesome. But you gotta get everything.
I don't have everything ready.
All right, next on the agenda, we have a presentation of Alvin ISD facility assessment.
The board this evening, we have PBK Architects here that will present findings of the recent facility assessment. Jeff? Caroline?
Always fun to follow a lifesaver, bunnies, art, and music. So thanks for whoever set this agenda. It's perfect.
That's why everybody left.
Couldn't believe it. This is must-see TV.
It's about to get really boring.
So, my name is Jeff Chapman. This is Caroline Harris. She is the director of our facility planning division. We've been working with your district since about April on a high-level assessment of all of your older campuses, 10 years or older. We've walked every discipline, so not just architects, but also engineers, with your district staff. Michael Barnes has been intimately accessible, getting us in and out of all the facilities. And then Rory and Bill, of course, and Matt, being communicative with what was needed in the assessment. And so the goal here being a setting the standard for how often you want to replace things, and then understanding when you have purchased everything, and then understanding how soon it needs to be replaced, so that the finance guys in Daniel's department can kind of help you plan financially how much money you're going to need moving into the future year after year to take care of roofs and chillers and windows that are leaking, et cetera. So with that, I'll turn it over to Caroline.
Okay. All right. So we wanted to quickly just look at the timeline. We've been working on this for quite some time. It started back in April, where we met with the team and determined the systems that we were going to assess facility by facility, set up our database, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. And then this summer, we were busy actually doing the on-site walks right in the heat, which is perfect timing, but all the kids were gone, so that was good. And just as a reminder, when we walked the facilities, we brought teams, specialists from each discipline, so civil, building envelope, mechanical, roofing, plumbing, electrical, architecture. So we covered everything discipline-wide. And then the past couple of months, we've been spent fine-tuning the data, making sure everything's QA/QC'd and ready to go. We've also been working on pricing. And then that brings us to now, which Jeff kind of mentioned, we're in the master planning phase of everything, where it starts to become one piece. And then this is just a quick look. I can't tell if everyone can see from where you're sitting, but one of the big asks from Alvin ISD was to create a cloud-based database system, which you can see on the screen here, but this is where all of the data from all of our on-site walks lives, and it will be a great planning tool for the district moving forward to make informed decisions.
And so the big difference between your last assessment in 2012 and now is the last assessment, I literally got a CD from Pat Miller, said this is our assessment. And so, as we all know, CDs are not updatable. And so with a cloud-based system, Michael and Matt will be able to go in and as they replace roofs, update
because the campuses are not going away, the roof's not going to go away. It's just the time frame at which it needs to be replaced will be updated. And so same with chillers, same with all your heaters, boilers, every system throughout the district.
Jeff, what I really like on here to note is the assessor comments. So it gives you it doesn't just say it's a roof, what type of roof, the year. It actually gives you detail about what the assessor who's looking at that piece of equipment or that, what they're seeing there.
And then we try to include a photograph for each piece of equipment as
Wow.
well that's hidden in there with it. At the click of a link, you can see the
Great.
condition at that time.
That's awesome.
So just going into a little bit more detail as to what the cloud-based system can do, this is housed in a database system called Smartsheet. So all of the different components, you can sort a million different ways. You can sort by facility, by system, on-site assessment comments and notes. It also contains the year that the system was installed, the year that the system was last renovated, if applicable, the calculated next renewal year, the remaining service life, the condition of the system based on our on-site walks, the recommended replacement year, and then finally getting to the estimated replacement cost. So all of those items live within our database. And then we worked with Rory and Michael, their teams, to determine system life cycles. So Jeff and I didn't come up with these numbers alone. It was based on Alvin ISD known system life cycles. So I want to make sure we mention that. But as you can see, these were all of the life cycle years for all of the systems that we assessed. These are also all of the systems that we assessed and are included in the database. So we covered a lot of ground over these past couple months. Okay. And then another outcome of our database system is that we will have a facility condition index, otherwise known as an FCI, for every campus. And in general, the FCI is just kind of is an industry standard measure to compare building conditions. So it's a good tool to look at all of the different facilities and see where they're falling on that scale. And essentially the formula for the FCI is the total cost of all of the existing deficiencies or the campus needs divided by the current replacement value of that campus. All right, so moving into the existing conditions away from the database system, were there any questions related to the Smartsheet database before we move forward? Okay. All right, so on average, all of the schools that we included in our assessment, the average age is 32 years old. And just to note, these are not all of the Alvin ISD facilities. These are only the facilities that we included in our on-site assessment.
So the rest of the facilities, we will include the kind of born-on date for those facilities and everything after confirming with Michael and Matt that nothing has been updated because of a warranty item or whatnot. Will be like, if Iowa Colony just opened last year, every system that we reviewed will have that year on it. And then the replacement year will automatically be estimated by the previous slides per system assessment of how soon it needs to be replaced.
I had a quick question, sorry. On the building assessment and the, I guess, life cycle of things like tennis courts, basketball courts, things like that, if there's ever a campus that needs to get renovated like we've done and we have to move students to another campus and the usage is sort of paused on that campus, do we add a year or two for?
It depends on the system. So like the roof would still get all of the weathering that it would.
Well, yeah, speaking inside mainly.
Correct. But so like it would be really difficult for an empty school to have toilet partitions age.
Right.
And so we would look at that, absolutely.
Okay.
But we think this is interesting just because, the age of the schools, we sometimes still call campuses new. And when we actually looked at the age of the facilities, some of them may be surprising. And then this is just honing in a little bit more on the actual database. So as I mentioned before, the database also comes with a dashboard and it's updated lifetime. So these were some snapshots taken from that dashboard provided from the data contained within the database. And this is looking at the existing condition, the recommended replacement by years. So most of the systems are falling within the 2029 to 2031 range. So that is the time period in which they are recommended for replacement. And then second to that time period is 2026 to 2028. And then the next graphic is systems past remaining useful service life by discipline. This is, again, just breaking it down by discipline, looking at all of the systems as a whole, and then the blue are indicating the systems that are past the remaining useful service life. And these may be small on the screen. Another metric that we have is looking at the district-wide conditions: excellent, good, fair, poor, or dilapidated. Fortunately, 0% of systems are in the actual dilapidated category. The majority of them are in good, with 29% in fair and 5% in excellent.
And so this is when it's important to remember that these are only your older schools.
Okay.
And so everything is kind of skewed to the older. And so when we walked, the general feel is that these are all very well-maintained schools. So no matter how old they were pretty well-maintained. But at a certain point, really old schools, there are just certain things, once you get to 50, 60 years, they're just very difficult to maintain. And that's when you enter into that FCI conversation about, is this building worth renovating and doing all that it's going to take for the upkeep, or is there value in just replacing it?
And then looking at the top 10 systems that have expired across the board, number one, it's walls, painting. So I think painting has a pretty short life cycle, so that makes sense. And I think another thing that's important to note is none of these systems are critical to the operation of a campus. So the number one expired system is not chillers. And I think that, again, that's a testament to your maintenance team, maintenance and operations team on the upkeep of each campus. And then finally, we wanted to hone in on one system, and the system that we picked was roofing, just because that's an easy system for everyone to grasp and understand. And looking at the specific roofing metrics, 75% of roofs are not due for replacement until 2026 or beyond. Only a small portion of the roofs are expired currently, and then 23% are due for replacement in 23, 24, 25.
So it's important to look at these metrics. These are just numbers. And so your maintenance team will look at School Dude and see, are these campuses actually reporting leaks? Are these campuses experiencing any kind of distress? Because if you may have a roof that's newer, that's in that 75% bucket, but it's just not performing. And most of your roofs in the middle range are PVC Duralast style roofs. And so they tend to perform about the same. We get very consistent performance out of them. And so, but your older schools have your built-up roofs, and there's some standing seam roofs around. And so humans will be interacting with this data and making decisions to bring forward for replacements, not just because, oh, well, it says it's time to replace it, automatically spend the money. We will use the empirical evidence we're getting on the ground to make those decisions. And some might get bumped up based on performance, and some may get bumped down because they're still performing well. No use spending the money to replace a roof that's never leaked.
And just to add on to that, this is a planning tool. This is a high-level planning tool for the district. And then I was wrong. The last metric is actually looking campus by campus. I knew that we were going to get to the boring part of the presentation. Campus by campus, looking at the systems past the remaining service life. And I think that we've highlighted two campuses in particular, Stevenson and Disney, looking at their percentage overall of the major systems past the remaining useful service life. And if you go back to the age slide, that makes sense, looking at the age of the campuses and where they are. But as you can see, those two campuses are 62 and 64% of their major systems are past their remaining useful life. And then Alvin Elementary, did you want to mention that one?
Alvin Elementary is currently being replaced. So it's important to consider that the facility condition index is only one measure. It's not as well as not an automatic, because, for example, the high school I went to, its main entrance is a building that was built in 1940, and it's like the statement piece of the campus. They're never going to tear it down. No matter if the FCI was 20, they're going to figure out a way to keep it. And so there's emotional components to certain schools that drive decisions. There are practical, there are parity concerns. So, for example, you may have a very well-maintained gym, but if you can only fit half of a basketball court in it, that may be an issue compared to a lot of your newer campuses that have full basketball courts in it. You may have some educational curriculum drivers that if the size of the classrooms cannot accommodate the modern level of curriculum that you need per TEA standards, no matter how good the carpet is, you may want to consider issues. And then finally, there may be some architectural instances in the building, like the size of the bathrooms, that based on the age of the facility just cannot be renovated without losing other spaces that they are maybe next to bring them up to code that would go beyond what is strictly in a facility condition index. So we recommend you work with an architect to have a holistic conversation about any building prior to replacing it.
And that concludes our presentation.
Anybody have any questions? Thank y'all very much. A very, very good tool.
Thank you. It was
Great
tough to
data.
follow the Christmas cards, but we made it.
This is great data that we'll use to make educated decisions moving forward. And I know maintenance and operations, this is a great tool for them to use, but also for the budgeting process as well. If we, Dr. Combs, we see we need certain things that maintenance tells us, and we can use the data then to judge and guide us. Thank you.
All right, now we're in the open forum session, and since nobody has signed up, we will go ahead and go to the consent agenda item. Do we have a motion that approve consent agenda items A and B as presented?
So moved.
Trustee Harris, do we have a second by Trustee Scott? Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have request consider approval of authorizing the Citizens Advisory Committee.
So board, let me get to my. Alvin ISD continues to closely monitor our student enrollment growth along with the current and future implications for our district's campuses and facilities. The Alvin ISD Board of Trustees has traditionally called for the engagement of a Citizen Advisory Committee to conduct a comprehensive review of educational and student programs, enrollment trends, and current facility capacities and conditions. This evening, the board's able to consider authorizing such a committee consisting of community members, business leaders, parents, and by adopting the provided Citizen Advisory Committee goals, purpose, charges, and perimeters.
All right, do we have a motion to adopt the Citizens Advisory Committee goals, purpose, charges, and perimeters? By Trustee Scott, second by Trustee Peterson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of resolution SB 763, school chaplain deal.
So board, the chaplain bill, Senate Bill 763 requires a mandatory vote. School districts must vote on adopting a policy for employing or accepting volunteer chaplains by March the 1st, 2024. The act does not mandate the adoption of a policy. The recommendation is to approve the resolution that would allow volunteer chaplains, not employing them, but volunteers. This would be aligned with our current practices and procedures in Alvin ISD, and this would be at the district level, not at the school level. So it would go through a district student services.
All right, do we have a motion for board approval of resolution for volunteering chaplains in alignment with current practices? Trustee Johnson, do we have a second? Trustee Scott, any questions or comments?
I do have a few, and I know we talked about them in the workshop, and I love the idea of faith-based volunteers in our schools. However, it's the intent behind the bill that I just wanted to have some discussion on to clarify. So from my understanding, Senate Bill 763 was to help school districts that were having a hard time staffing counselors. And I don't believe that that's an issue in our school district. So to Carol's point, this would be at the district level. So what I don't want to see is a principal having to manage an additional staff member of a school chaplain, especially trying to decide if a child is of one faith and the chaplain is of a different. So I just want to clarify that it is at the district level. Principals will not be managing the chaplains, and that it would be more of a volunteer-based if there were trauma at a school, and these chaplains would come in and offer prayers if the children so chose.
So the intent here would be that the principal would reach out to student services and request if there was some sort of a trauma or something where they were asking for assistance from faith-based. It wouldn't necessarily have to be a chaplain. It could be a pastor. It could be a youth pastor. It could be any faith-based is what we currently use for volunteers. And we have had requests before when we've had some tragedy, a death of a student or injury or things of that nature. So we have always reached out. We also have a Fellowship of Christian Athletes on our campuses that we have at times faith-based leaders that come and speak to those groups. So yes, it would be at the request of a principal requesting to student services. And if the policy did pass for volunteers, we would then work with our administrative team in developing admin regs that we would then review with our leaders on campus. So it wouldn't be per se that a principal would reach out and have a volunteer chaplain in an office every day for students to go visit. That's not the model that we would be using.
You know, I know that we have parents involved in Watchdogs, and we have Yet Mentors, which are wonderful programs. And I know that we also have a chaplain committee that you meet with and other departments do throughout the year to keep them informed on the district's initiatives. And I just hope that maybe we can blend the Yet Mentors and the Watchdogs with the chaplains, as they would be also considered volunteers. I know that the district actually very much values capturing kids' hearts. And the purpose of that is to make sure that we build relationships with our students so that we can really get to know them. And so the chaplains may know a student or two on campus, but if they are blended in a fashion in which they can develop relationships and maybe capture the essence of capturing kid hearts and getting to know them, that would be very beneficial, so that they're just not walking into something, and not being familiar. Maybe being in different capacities on a volunteer basis. That would be great, because I certainly I know that there's so much training that you put in with our counselors, and they have to have certain credentials and such to be to provide services to our students. I know that the chaplains wouldn't have those credentials, and so, but to have them in a volunteer mode and have that essence of capturing kids' hearts, I think that would be really beneficial.
Well, and I don't ever think the intent was to replace any of our counselors, because I know in Alvin ISD, we really
we have the counselors, we have
right.
mental health professionals, and we have our officers who are trained in capturing kids' hearts, and we have so many people who are, the frontline folks, so.
For this bill, is there a definition, or is there a difference with this bill between a chaplain, a pastor, a youth pastor?
So chaplains, you can have unlicensed chaplains, you can have licensed chaplains. So not every faith-based person has gone through a licensing for chaplain. So we're using that word kind of interchangeably, but there are licensed chaplains that go through a specific training. When we talk about faith-based that we meet with, that could be youth ministers, it could be pastors, it could be priests, it could be rabbis, we invite all faith-based organizations and nonprofit organizations to come in and really just kind of educate them about what programs we have, how they can get involved, how we welcome them to be partners with us. But as far as employing them, and you all know, because you've been through the budget process more than once, we don't have funds to employ anyone outside. We already have unfunded mandates from the state that really is putting some challenges to the budget because personnel is your most expensive. And right now, it's funding all of our safety and the expenses there. But we also have other unfunded mandates where we're required to have certain teachers that the state doesn't fund. And so there's just not the funds there. I know the bill was in good intent, and it, like Trustee Peterson said, but I do know that Alvin ISD is open to partnering and allowing faith-based people to come in, again, with the parents' permission as well. And so that, you know, parents have to be part of the process and be a part of their child's education. So, and it's also the parents' choice on what faith or what really, or if there is a religion, right? That's not for us to dictate to a parent, so.
So, and just so I'm clear, so with this bill, is it only for licensed chaplain for this bill? Or is it for, like you just said, that non-licensed chaplains? Do we know that?
Mr. Guest, do you recall if it said licensed in the bill? I don't recall that it said licensed.
There's not a definition within the bill that leaves it up to local districts to make those determinations. We have policies that govern volunteers, it falls under those. There's some legal, but there's also local policies and then administrative regulations to implement those policies. So it's a local definition of the
Yeah. Okay. And it's vague. My interpretation of it was going to allow districts to redirect safety funds for this position, but
Exactly.
we are falling in line with how I understand it, with what we've already been doing. I did have another question though to follow up. I know we did discuss it in the workshop. Will we ever get to a point, because it's by campus, but it's going to be managed at the district level where, just like we have approved vendors, would we vet these clergy, if you will, and allow a principal to pick if it happens to come down to denomination? And I don't know if we can answer that tonight, but you know what I mean? Would we have a list of approved that have already gone through our background checks, that have passed through our screening process so that we don't have to start that over at the time of need?
The law states in it, because school chaplains actually fall under chapter 23, which is a chapter to themselves in the Texas Education Code, which was established under the bill, and it's only 3 paragraphs, but chapter 23 refers back to chapter 22, which is the employment code, and says they must be vet. Anyone who's under this resolution or law have to follow all the rules under chapter 22 as far as background checks, vetting, and everything that goes along that. So
Got it.
they can't participate unless they go through that entire process.
For sure.
When you brought up a good point, that it's local policy. So at any
Right.
time, if this were to pass tonight with 2 board members agreeing to put that back on an agenda, it could be amended, correct?
Absolutely.
So if we try it and
6 months from now.
6 months
Right.
from now, it's not working as intended, we can modify.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a lot of moving pieces to this, and I know that the board, we don't get in the weeds, but if this is approved tonight, can we ask for an update as it evolves so that we know what's happening with it?
Good idea.
We could give in the weekly if
Yes.
we,
Yes.
and it will take us some time to develop admin
Oh, yes.
regs as well. And we
Yes.
also would, you know, anytime you do that, you also reach out to other districts who maybe
Right.
have passed it and how is it working for them and what are they?
Lessons learned.
Yes, lessons learned, exactly.
Appreciate that.
All good questions. Any more questions or comments? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of bond parameter order.
So Board, we're at that time when the Alvin ISD Board of Trustees has authorized various construction projects in line with our voter authorization provided during the 2018 bond election. This proposed order requests the board's authorization to meet the scheduled cash flow for the approved projects by securing funding through the sale of authorized yet unissued bonds. Additionally, the board is asked to consider providing authorization to refund current bonds should they provide appropriate savings to the district. The proposed order reads as follows. Order authorizing the issuance, sale, and delivery of Alvin Independent School District Unlimited Tax Bonds Series 2024, setting certain parameters for the bonds, authorizing a pricing officer to approve the amount, the interest rate, price, and terms thereof, and certain other procedures and provisions related thereto, levying a tax and providing for the security and payment of such bonds, and enacting other provisions relating thereto.
Do we have a motion to approve the parameter order as presented?
So moved.
By trustee Harris, do we have a second? By trustee Johnson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of annexation of the John Ralph Transportation Safety and Tech Center site into the city of Alvin.
So board, portions of our Alvin ISD John Ralph Transportation Safety and Tech Center site lie outside the boundary of the city of Alvin. As Alvin ISD continues to examine possible future development of this property, it is necessary for planning and permitting that the entire site be annexed into the jurisdictional area of this entity.
All right, do we have a motion to consider and approve annexation of the entire John Ralph Transportation Safety and Tech Center site into the jurisdictional boundary of the city of Alvin and delegate authority to the superintendent or her designee to pursue and execute all necessary documentation?
So moved.
By trustee Peterson, we have a second by trustee Scott. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of Barbara Bennett Elementary and Iowa Colony Junior High attendance boundaries.
Or the School Boundary Advisory Committee presented their recommendation to the Board of Trustees at the November 14, 2023 meeting regarding the elementary and junior high attendance boundaries. The rezoning is due to the opening of Barbara Bennett Elementary School and Iowa Colony Junior High. The attendance boundaries will go into effect with the opening of both schools in August of 2024.
Do we have a motion to approve the attendance boundaries for 2024-2025? So trustee Johnson, do we have a second?
Second.
By trustee Harris. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of employment of personnel.
So board attached, you will find a list of recommendations for contract for your consideration.
All right, do we have a motion approval be granted for requested personnel items as presented? By trustee Scott, we have a second. By trustee Johnson. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, next we have request to consider approval of administrative appointment.
So board, last month, we named Ms. Carla Boyce as principal of Meridiana Elementary, which therefore left her position as assistant principal open. So our committee interviewed and made a recommendation. So I'm recommending Ms. Donnie Walters, who's currently serving Alvin ISD as the coordinator of special ed for elementary and junior high campuses. She previously served for 2 years at Bell Sanchez Elementary and 3 years at Nolan Ryan Junior High as an assistant principal, as well as 4 years at Fairview Junior High as a special ed teacher and department chair. Prior to her time with Alvin ISD, she taught for 2 years at Dowling Middle School in Houston. Donnie has 10 years of experience in education, 8 of these being with Alvin ISD. She received her bachelor's in sociology from Smith College in Massachusetts and master's in educational leadership from the University of St. Thomas. So my recommendation is for consideration is Ms. Walters to return to an assistant principal at Meridiana Elementary School.
All right, do we have a motion to approve Donnell Walters as assistant principal, Meridiana Elementary?
So moved.
Trustee Harris, do we have a second by trustee Peterson? Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
For your kids' surprise, Donnie? Will you please stand and introduce the guest you brought this evening? Oh. Oh, no.
This is Reed. He's my fourth grader at Meridiana. He's 9. Reed, first grader at Meridiana. And then Ross. Hi, Ross.
Aw.
And then Raylan, my husband.
Yes, and Raylan is our associate principal at Iowa Colony High School. And so, yeah, it's a family affair. Congratulations. Yes. So Ms. Walters has missed being a campus administrator, and so she inquired about returning to that position. She loves special ed. She brings a wealth of knowledge now, background having been coordinator there and working well with our parents and students. So we look forward to you back on campus administration. Thank you. And stay for a picture at the end.
And she's got the cutest kids.
Yes, she
The picture she shows up with, though. Thank y'all very much. At this time, we have nothing else, so I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? By
Second.
Trustee Peterson. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We are adjourned. Thank y'all very much, and all of y'all have a very Merry Christmas.
And board, don't forget.